story this is from the McKinney Boyd boys basketball team. They were 1-6 in district play heading to their last 3 games, and they went on a 3-game winning streak to get the 4th spot in 10-5A and make the playoffs. I'm joined by a very happy Coach Dean Christian. And Coach, that surge at the end from your team, who had a couple tough losses early on in the district schedule, what was it that changed, if anything, about this team during that time?
I don't really think anything changed so much as that we, stuck to our guns and kept trying to get better every single day in practice. We had a really strong leadership from our senior class, and throughout those losses, a lot of them, I think with the exception of the second Plano East game, all of them were within 6 points. We believed in our hearts and that if we kept our focus and our concentration, that the ball would bounce our way and that we would be able to close out some of those games. And fortunately for us, we were able to do that.
One of the tough losses early on your schedule was to Allen at their place. It was a game that you're up by 13 going into the 4th. They ended up sending it to overtime on a tip-in, and in double overtime, the Eagles pulled out with the victory. What kind of a learning experience was that game for your team to have to overcome losing a tie game against a team that would have been a huge win for you at the moment?
It would have been a big win for us. Allen's an excellent team. They're well coached, and they have some great athletes on their team. And down the stretch, we squandered a lead, but we, like you said, going into regulation, we had a 2-point lead with 0.5 on the clock, and we gave away a tip-in, which put us into the first overtime. And we had our opportunity to win in the first overtime, and then finally we kind of just ran out of room and space and time in that second overtime. But it was a thrilling game. I think even though we lost that game, being able to play that way at their place and knowing that they had only lost 1 game at that point in district, I think that was the overwhelming plant or seed in our minds that said, hey, we belong, we can definitely do this, and it sort of gave us a confidence that we hadn't had before, that we could actually pull it out. So even though we lost and we were frustrated and upset with that loss because it was a tough loss, I think we came out of there stronger because of the adversity and what we had went through.
The turnaround really took into full swing when you played McKinney for the second time. They beat you by 3 in the first matchup, but you really got off to a fast start in the second game and kept at bay a really athletic, fast break kind of team.
It was that was a great atmosphere. That was a great game. I think that's the biggest crowd we've ever played in front of here in McKinney. But our guys came out. We were focused, and like I said, we were hardened by that point. And 7 games of district play, tough district play, I thought had prepared us for that last final stretch. And we played really good basketball. And I thought that was, the beginning of what you see now, which is tournament berth.
Michael Parrish and Michael Grant are 2 names that really had to step up for your team to help with some scoring throughout district play, and they came up with some huge games when you needed it.
Yeah, Michael is just our leader. He has been for the past 3 years, and he took on the scoring role. We asked him to score. We moved him off the ball, playing point, which he is, our best point guard. But we asked him to move to the off-guard position and put some more points on the board, and he did that for us. And he came up with some really big offensive scoring games, and it just is a testament to his work ethic and his ability to help the team in so many different ways. And then Michael, coming off an injury, coming into district play, he's slowly but surely working himself into, just a real nice threat for us, and he's able to score, and he gives us a dimension that we really don't have. He's very athletic, and he's very tough around the basket, and has been doing a great job for us.
Your first round playoff game is tonight against Richardson-Berkner, and just from an outsider looking in, you look at Berkner and you say, whoa, they went undefeated in their district. They're the number 1 team from their district. You're the number 4. They only have 5 losses all season. You think this is a mismatch, but then you look at throughout the regular season, one of their 5 losses came to this Boyd Broncos team. You beat them by 8 earlier in the year. they're such an athletic team, and they're so good at putting up points and getting out in space in a hurry. What happened in that first matchup that was able to be successful for your team?
Well, back then, I think we were able to stop their transition. We were able to limit them to one shot on the boards and keep them off the glass. And we were also able to invert the floor and pull the big man out and do some things behind him versus at him. I think that's going to be the key tonight. But make no bones about it, they're an excellent team. They have 3 high major players. And they're going to be a ton to work with, and they're very well coached. But if at this point, I think everybody's good. Whenever you reach the tournament and the field is cut down like it is, every game, if you look up and down the brackets, all the games are really tough games, and we're just fortunate to be in it, and we're looking forward to matching up with them again. They're different. They're better than they were when we saw them before, but we think we're better also.
Yes. They have Somo Ito, who's one of the guys that averages a double-double throughout high school basketball, really one of the talents there. And then they have 2 other scorers that average over 12 points a game. They really can spread out the scoring, and that's sometimes difficult for a defense to deal with. But your defense, as you were mentioning earlier, they do a real nice job to try and bring them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, and our guys have been committed to the defensive end of the floor. I mean, that's part of our mentality. When we hit the floor, we're going to try to take away what you want to do best, and the guys are very aware of the personnel, what they like to do, and they take pride in stopping some of that. I mean, and when we preach and they believe that every single possession counts, and we try to win every single possession, especially on the defensive end as well as the offensive end. And over the course of the game, we hope that the scales end up on our favor. But they are very, very talented in that. The guy that brings up the ball for them, Harris, is also one of their leading scorers. And then they have a punishing inside guy in Ito, which forces you to want to help and want to move some people towards those 2 guys. And then they have that 3rd guy, which kind of spaces on you, and they kick the ball out to him, and he's been answering the call by making threes and giving him that trifecta, which makes it really dangerous to guard and to stop. So we've identified those areas, and we're just going to try to stop those big 3 and do the best we can in those areas.
Yeah, Keenan Evans and Kendall Harris have definitely done that for Berkner. For your team in the first matchup, Martez Butler was the leading scorer with 15 points, and he's not typically your leading scorer, but he had a big game that night. Can he duplicate that effort? I
think so. I think the matchup is one where if we can get to, we like to invert the floor, and what I mean by that is we like to pull their bigs away from the basket, and then we like for our smaller guys to kind of work underneath that. And what gives us the opportunity to do that is that our 5-man Martez and Tabor McFadden can shoot the 3, and they can put it on the floor. So you have to come out and guard those guys, and you have to respect what they do, and then that allows us to do things underneath the defense. So I think the opportunities will be there for them to have another big night.
Well, Coach, the game plan seems solid, and you've done it before. Good luck tonight in trying to do it again.
Thank you very much.
McKinney Boyd Broncos playing Richardson Berkner tonight in the first round of the playoffs. Already beaten by 8 earlier in the year, but Berkner, they're a quality team. It's going to be a good game this evening.